To show you how good of an engine this is, guys, it's great. Look, it's a really good solid engine, and it always has been. So I think me and John have decided that what we'll do is we'll take some profit from something, maybe the lexmoto, and build this properly. We'll do something. What I want to do now is run the fuel out, but I put like 1.5 litres in, maybe 2 litres. But for now we'll do something with it. I'm going to try and drain the tank so we can save some of that fuel. So guys, that was perfect. We've got a sale on this. I need to deliver it later. Great news. Full price, £900, although I'm giving him free delivery, which is fine. John's down here. Now, yesterday we were so busy with the Triumph, but we haven't put up the video. Now, one thing that's really hard to explain is that this top end here is different to the bike of this era. It's not the right one. It's actually an earlier top end. Although, saying that, I'd love your guys' opinion. Anyone who knows about these bikes, look at this top end. Now, normally you have a kind of circular screw in there that then goes to the car. This is an earlier top end. We don't know why that was put on, but it's a new built engine. It's great, the compression's good. But that's where we've been struggling with the parts. We had a slight oil leak on the left side, so John's putting a new gasket on there now. And then we've got other bits and pieces to do. This tank, obviously, issue. I'm going to pop that off in a minute so that we can see the kind of lines of the bike. We'll be ordering a new tank at some point to make that a more interesting bike. But honestly, guys, it's great news. I know we're not kind of overly busy today in regards to filming, but that had to go. Nice guys turned up, paid the deposit, no messing around. I mean, people have been asking me to deliver it to Southampton, and they say, I'm not going to leave a deposit. And I'm like, well, you want me to drive this 3 hours to you and give you the upper hand when it comes to negotiations? So these guys turn up, viewed it first, then paid a deposit to get me to deliver it. That's absolutely the right way to do things. I know there's always a fear about leaving deposits, but I'm talking 50 quid, guys. I'm not talking 500. So, good. We are busy, and I'll drop that off later. Okay, guys, so I ran the fuel through. I'm just going to double check. If it starts for even a few seconds, then it'll be sucking up. Great. So we've run the fuel through. That means the E10 isn't going to go stale in the carb. That's something you do have to do. I'm going to pop this tank off. Now, the main reason I want to pop this tank off is because I want to get the measurements, especially underneath. I've had trouble with tanks in the past that didn't seat because of the measurements underneath. But a lot of the Chinese tanks that they send now, they do give you the measurements. So I'm going to pop this tank off. You'll see it off in a minute. And we'll kind of see the lines of the bike a little bit more. I'm also going to measure the rear shocks because I might lower the bike a touch to get that kind of stance that I prefer. It's hard to explain that, but I like an old kind of flatter stance with a bike. And you see that the arse on this, not John's arse, the arse on this just sits up slightly. You can lower the shocks a touch to the point where it sits a bit flatter, and then you get a bit of a better look. Saying that, if I can get a tank that suits this bike, a black tank for example, and we don't have to do too much at the rear, then that could work as well. But for now I'm going to pop this tank off. Okay guys, so tank's off. Couple of discoveries on this bike. At some point it had a data tool. Who put a £400 alarm on a £1,600 bike? Really interesting. Now it'd be tempting to pull this off. You can't, don't. It will obviously have been bridged at some point. It costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time to bridge a data tool alarm. What you'll find is if you take that off, your bike won't start. I'm not going there. The other discovery, which is good, it is a bog standard tank. I am going to take the measurements, but it is a basic Chinese tank. That's good. That means we can get what we need. And the other thing here is it has got an emissions control. So what I'm going to do is block off this extra airflow here. Take that off. This pipe comes from the manifold. Block that off. And I'm going to make a little plate to put behind here and block that off as well. So that ultimately it doesn't need that. It doesn't need that flow. So I'm going to take off the emissions control, and it will actually get an extra horsepower or two, which makes a difference on these little bikes already. So that's quite cool. So let's get some of that off. This bit's easy. You've got options here, guys. You can cut the pipe here, crimp it, block it, blah blah blah, or make a little plate underneath. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little plate, clamp it down so that the actual hole is blocked fully. Just a bit of sheet metal, measure where the holes go, bolt it down. This can all come off. Obviously the manifold pipe needs to be blocked off properly. So that's good. It will definitely feel a bit better once that's done, so I'm going to get on with that right now. So look guys, kept it simple. Cut a little bit of sheet metal there, put a little bit of silicone over, and then I'm going to clamp that down. So I'm going to clamp this back on like that, bolt it down, and then that's done your job there. There's no air coming through. I am going to block off these ends anyway, so I'm going to lose this, but I'm going to keep that on there for no reason except it's doing me a favour at the moment by clamping it down. So guys, hello, you alright? Where have you been? Right guys, so blanked off and blocked off underneath, nothing's going to come out of there. Blanked off and blocked off, we don't need any extra air in the air filter. Blanked off and blocked off on the manifold. We've lost the EGR system there now. That's great. That'll be an extra, like I said, half a horsepower, maybe a horsepower. A nice exhaust now. Stainless would make this a little bit quicker even so, and it's quite a quick bike already if we're being honest. I can't find my tape measure, but just kind of eyeballing the tank, what have we got here? Probably 12, maybe 14 centimeters roughly. The back bit don't matter too much. It's kind of this bit here. So 10 to 12 along there, maybe 14 along there. Basically all the Chinese tanks are designed for these frames anyway, so that's all good. For now I'm wrapping up because very soon I've got to drop off the lexmoto. So today Sultan's bike's got fuel in it now. That's good, it starts and runs and rides. I'm taking the lexmoto to its final destination. Harley still needs a battery. Lexmoto over there still no good. Gary's going to find out about his bike tomorrow, and we're going to look at kind of making this more interesting at some point, because it's a nice engine, it's a nice frame, so we may as well do more around it. As always, thanks for watching. Please drop a comment and a like, and please make sure you're subscribed, and we can try and get out more interesting content as much as possible.